And you can talk about all of the ways to pattern interrupt that. But yeah, for me, that's been a recurring thing that happens every so often. Um, but to be able to see the cycle, I just wrote down the
Mm.
power of being witnessed. I feel like that
Yeah.
because actually you've touched on something really important for me. Welcome to Wild and Finally Fucking Free, hosted by me, soul-fueled storyteller Kylie Patchett. We dive into the truth-talking, unedited stories of metamorphosis, growth, and evolution. I deeply believe that sharing our stories holds transformative magic. Join us to listen to future humans, change agents, extraordinary ordinary people, healers, and paradigm shifters as we honour the power of our messy, magical stories. Let's get wild and finally fucking free together. Always starting with a bookie. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the podcast. I have my beautiful friend Jodie here. She has been a guest, God, way back, way back. I
That's
think you were
early on.
episode like 3 of season 1, and we are at the end of episode 3. Season 3 now. So welcome back. How are
Thank
you?
you, Kylie. I'm great. Love being here again.
We are going to dive into I don't know, a warm and fuzzy topic, or maybe a rough and spiky one. I don't know, depending on your outlook.
Yeah, we'll
we
see
have
what comes
been
up.
Yeah, we've been talking a lot about friendship and adult friendships and how tricky they can be, and how different people have different levels of ease with staying connected, etc. And you were just telling me you'd like listen to a podcast, which we won't go into, but yeah, your generator is like, I want to respond to this.
Yeah, it was a little bit like that.
So where do you want to start? Well, actually, I will start by saying you are the biggest gift from 2024 for me, because we reconnected. Was it 2024? Maybe 23.
Yeah, I think last year.
Yeah. And oh, of course, we're in 24. In my head, it's already 2025. I feel like
Yeah.
I've just fast forwarded to January because I turned 50, it's all about me. Yeah, so of 2023, when we reconnected, because we knew each other from way back,
hmm
2011, maybe, I don't
Yeah, it
know,
was a long
around about
time.
that. Yeah. And then I dropped off the entrepreneurial planet for a while, and then I came back and we reconnected. And yeah, I'm very blessed to say that you've become a very close friend of mine. So yeah, I'm excited to dive in. Where do you want to start?
Where do I want to start? Well, I just also want to say I feel very blessed that we reconnected. And I think that it's kind of been a bit of a slow burn with then rebuilding the friendship.
Yes.
Um, and not so much even rebuilding it. I think it's developing the friendship
Yeah,
and
I
seeing
would say that too.
where it goes and how it goes. And that is so difficult as an adult. And I think it's so difficult as an adult when your kids are grown and off doing things. So you're not at a sports club with them or at
Yes.
school with them or those
Hmm.
things. And like, yes, I have a job, and I make friends there, but it's just different, I think, when you
Yeah.
get to your 50s,
Yeah,
late
I
40s,
agree.
50s.
I
Yeah.
agree. I actually, like I was saying to you before we started recording, like I remember in school, so I was I was the chronologically younger than all of my peers because I'm a January kid, and back then the cutoff was in January. And I remember hanging out a lot more with the people under, like in the next grade down,
Mm.
because academically, absolutely fine, but far out socially, I've always felt quite awkward, and I've always done way better one-on-one. I'm not great in groups, or haven't been great in groups. And I feel like I don't know, there's so many ways I want to go, but I feel like I've never really figured out how to do close friendships, particularly female friendships.
hmm
So I've had a couple of close friends at school that were boys who are, still friends of mine from the next school over. But I feel like I've always had a distrust of other females, which, listeners to the podcast, no prizes for guessing where that comes from my childhood. But yeah, it's been a surprising, yeah, deepening of our
Mm.
relationship. And I think there's so many different factors that have helped me. I was saying to you, like, it's the first time I've really felt safe and seen for myself.
Yeah. Nice.
Which has actually rippled through every single other relationship. So it's pretty bloody cool. It's like a friendship with benefits, but not of that side.
I think when we were talking before we started recording, I think something came up with that, because you were talking about how you were able to have a conversation with someone else close in your life that you perhaps hadn't necessarily been able to before. And I think that in some ways I feel like I'm a little bit the same. And I think in some ways it's that we kind of get to test things out with each other.
That's
And
true.
because we're like, I'm Melbourne and you're in country Queensland, so we don't see each other. So our friendship is chats like this once every couple of weeks, but it's voice noting almost every day.
Multiple times a day.
Often. And so it's kind of like our friendship is about processing what each of us individually are going through in that moment, and then feeling the support from the other afterwards. And I think that is why it then helps deepen other relationships, because we get to process the that initial that you might have about something through a voice note that we're sharing with someone, rather than with the person that it might be about, or the situation that it's about. So that instead of reacting to a situation straight away, it's like, I need to walk this out and talk it out often. And so you kind of then are like, okay, so that energy's not so bad after all. And here I can respond in a better way.
There's so much in what you're saying. So I need to share with our listeners that you are such a walker. So you walk everywhere. You average many, many, many more steps than my desk sitting bottom does. And we have found, and you actually got me back into walking more regularly, although I've been a bit slack lately, but more regularly. And I feel like the walking, and for both of us,
the thumbs up's coming up.
my Zoom does weird stuff. There's a thumbs up. Sometimes sometimes it thumbs down when I'm not meaning thumbs down, which is very disturbing. But I feel like for both of us, we are verbal processors, very much so. So often we will we voice note on Instagram. So you've got a minute, and often we're blah, 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 blah for minutes at a time, and then realize that we haven't recorded anything, which is fine, because I think that's actually part of just the verbal processing.
I agree.
And often, and this happens with both of us, like you'll be talking something through and then you're like, oh, this is the same sort of pattern that's shown up before. This is, or like for me, often like this is the voice of fear that turns up, or when I'm not, and for both of us, sleep, like if we haven't slept properly, mental health wobbles, or, how we see the situation wobbles, or whatever. And I feel like also we've both given each other permission to gently call each other out as well, which I definitely have not experienced before without feeling very defensive, because that was just, my protective mechanism.
I think that the benefit of the voice notes and the not being face to face is that you kind of feel well, I know when I receive you calling me out for something, I might react myself, but I'm like, then I take that moment of, oh no, that's meant in this way and this is wonderful. And where I think, because both of us then frame it differently as well, then maybe what you do when you're with someone face to face in calling them out on something, because the defensiveness then does just come up. But like, I'll never forget the way probably one of the first times that you did it for me, and you said to me, please don't speak to my friend like that. And I was just
my heart just go.
I know, same when I said that too, and I'm like, oh yeah, thank you, that was a gift.
Hey, gorgeous. We interrupt this gold for a delicious invitation. If your whole body has been whispering more lately, more voice, more truth, more satisfaction, more clients of the soulmate variety, more cash, more you, then this invitation is for you. Potent, my sister mind is officially open. This is my high touch, holy fuck, I'm ready sister mind for rebels in good girl clothing who are done outsourcing their power and diluting their magic to fit into someone else's business formula. If you have been craving a space where your strategy, your voice, and your energy all get to be offered, honored, refined, and amplified, this is it. Inside of Potent, you will get my eyes on your business every single week, copy mentoring, and that is for brand copy and content storytelling that turns your truth into client catnip, energetic recalibration that helps you unhook old learned limitation patterns, keeping you quiet, not being seen, not being heard, real-time, high-touch, one-on-one coaching that actually sees the bigness of your vision, and the kind of sisterhood that does not flinch when you show up in your full, messy, brilliant, phoenix rising from the ashes glory. This isn't surface level support. It's deep, potent, paradigm shifting work that changes who you are as a woman in business and a woman in life. We start in August. Early open access is open right now. For the month of June 2025, inside of this early access open doors period, you will receive juicy bonuses, extended payment plans, and access immediately to my entire library of storytelling gold. You'll find all the juicy details at kyliepatchett.com/potent. And we fill spaces, and there's only 10 of them, and more than likely only 5 by the time you listen to this, because by that time I will have offered them to the existing cohort, the beautiful original OG circle. We do actually take applications on a first come, first served basis. So come and apply, and let's get back to the magic of the episode. Yeah, it is so much, isn't it, when you see, because then it's not about you're doing something wrong by talking like that. It's like, hey, hang on. You're talking to someone that I hold very dear and precious.
Yeah.
And you're talking to her from a space of often being really tired or really stretched or really overwhelmed. And, both of us have had. And actually, one of the other things that I find really interesting is that it doesn't always happen like this, but quite often, we like the waves of normal living, some days you're feeling amazing and everything is open and expansive and whatever. And then other days you're like, I feel a bit sluggish, or I feel like nothing's working, whatever. It's always such a gift when I'm in a dip or in a doubting phase and you're in anything but a doubt, because it doesn't very often happen that we're both in the same phase. I know,
it's amazing, isn't it?
It is. It's like this, waxing and waning type of thing, wave. But it is such a gift to be able to hear someone that you really trust in an open and expansive frame of mind and be like, it just keeps reminding me that the doubt, it's just part of the expansion and contraction of life. And when you can hear someone who's in an expanding phase, when you're contracting or when you're, tired or whatever, it just continually reminds me that there is a different way of looking at things. Like we're in the same reality. Well, we're not in the same reality because we're all filtering differently, but, we're in the same world.
Yeah.
Nothing much has changed, but the way that you're seeing things in that moment is different to the way my brain is, and definitely when my brain starts to try and derail me. It's like, slow down there.
Yeah. I think the beautiful thing is also that we voice note very regularly, but when we don't, it also kind of is the red flag of knowing that we need to check in on each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that's happened for both of us, where there's been
Definitely.
radio silence for a couple of days and we're both like, are you okay? Are you just busy or are you okay? And that's really, really nice to have.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just to know that there is someone who is there to do that check-in, so that even if you are in a bit of a hole, that there's someone that's there that's going to gently try and pull you out.
Yeah. It's like a safety net, isn't it?
It
It's like
is.
I'm on the trapeze of life, but I know that if I fall off, someone is going to notice.
Yeah. Well, it is kind of that, because often you're putting on a mask for everybody else around you
Yes.
at
Yeah.
home or at work or whatever else,
Yep.
because there's other stuff going on. And so you're like, I don't have time to be down now. And so this friendship is kind of where you feel safe to be in that silence and down, knowing that someone will help pull you out of it.
Yeah. Something that happened to me just recently, I had like several days of radio silence. I had a massive just fall into, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know, blah, 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 blah. Like just catastrophic negative thinking. And when I reverse engineered it, I could see, yes, I haven't been getting enough sleep and I haven't been taking care of my basic self-care, which I don't know. I'm not going to judge myself anymore. I'm almost 50. I need a checklist to make sure that I'm doing what I need to just keep my human needs met. But I had a series of things, and I'd actually just, come back from a holiday that kind of left me a bit discombobulated and whatever. And I remember like sobbing to you. Oh, makes me emotional. On that voice note, multiple voice notes. Let's face it, it's probably like 30 voice notes. But once I actually got it out of my system, it was the voicing out loud, the shit that was going on in my head, that I was like, oh, this is just the same fear cycle that I go into every so often. Oh, okay. Because when I'm inside it for myself, and yes, slapping on the, I've still got to turn up for clients. I've still got to, keep a home running or whatever. I can forget that voice of fear and doubt is actually not what's real. That's not my authentic self. That's not my, my highest, most loving internal sense, or the way that I would, talk to you or talk to my kids or whatever. And that external, that was such a good example for me, because I think that was on a Monday morning. And by like the Tuesday morning, I was like, right, I know exactly what I need to do. I need to get back to my self-care. I need to drop expectations of, any of this high performing bullshit that I keep going back to. And I need to blah, blah, blah. And now I'm like, oh, even keel again. But had I not had that, I have had periods in my life where I've started on that like catastrophic negative thinking, and I've got stuck so badly in that spiral that it's like, oh, now I am actually depressed and have been for 6 months.
Exactly. I think there is such magic in the voice note part of it, because when you, like, if I had been there with you in that moment, then the tendency as humans is that we say to someone, it's going to be okay, or we try and fix it for them.
Correct. Yeah.
And what this has taught me is how important it is to just let someone go through it all.
Oh my God, that's such a good
sit
point.
and wait and just be there with them or for them. So for us, it's the fact that you just know that I'm at the other end of that phone, and that I will listen at some point. And then we can, I will throw something back at you or whatever. But it's really hard when you're in the moment with someone that you're present with to let that all play out. But it's so important to do it, because as you say, when you let it all play out and you do that yourself, then often you do find the answer.
Yeah. And you notice it's
because
a pattern.
We know. Yeah, exactly.
It's like this is a common pattern. This is one of my Achilles heels patterns. And you can talk about all of the ways to pattern interrupt that. But for me, that's been a recurring thing that happens every so often. but to be able to see the cycle. I just wrote down the
Mm.
power of being witnessed. I feel like that.
Yeah.
Because actually you've touched on something really important for me, because like I was conditioned from a very young age to be someone else's caretaker.
Mm-hmm.
And so, oh my God, I've just made a massive realization. So this is a chiropractic adjustment for me. The reason why I've avoided female friendships is because historically, someone sharing their emotional state with me has in my head equaled I need to fix something at the
Mm.
expense of myself.
Yeah.
So of course I'm going to not form female friendships. And
Mm.
because I've done a lot of work and had a lot of support around that pattern. But you're right. If you were in front of me at your lowest low, I would want to be like, I'd be wrapping you up in a hug and,
Yeah.
like, it's all going to be okay. And it's like, and yeah, it's funny when you do mindset training, they're like, the worst thing you can do for someone in a high emotional state is to like dampen, like connect that to
Mm-hmm.
like hugging someone. Like when I did my NLP training, people would be bawling their eyes out, and the trainer would be like, do not, every single person in this room has to resist
Yeah.
the human urge to shut that down, because
Mm-hmm.
actually what they're doing is clearing something. And I'm like,
Yeah. 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 And so what we have enables us to do that for each other, because I think it's happened many times in both directions.
yeah,
I mean, there's been many times where I will talk something through as I'm walking to work or walking home from work or something with you, and 6 or 7 or 10 or 30 voice notes in, I'm like, oh yeah.
yeah,
And so it just helps. I think it really helps to kind of enable us as individuals to fully form the whole thought pattern
yeah,
around it. Because yes, there is a tendency for anyone, it's human nature, that you interrupt and say to someone it's going to be
correct,
okay.
yeah,
And sometimes it's not going to be okay. And sometimes that person just needs to find the answer for themselves.
yeah,
And the reality is, we actually have the answer within us.
of
All of
course,
us do.
yeah,
And I think the beauty of great friendships is that they allow us to find that answer within ourselves and
yeah.
not come in as the savior trying to save the day.
Oh, because and I've had many relationships,
Same.
many relationships throughout my entire life where I have been in that position. And I can look back now and go, oh, because I was in the savior energy, I literally attracted people who needed saving.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's how it works, right?
Yeah.
But then very resentful of the fact that it's not an equal relationship.
Mm.
It's like, that's
Mm.
what you actually, like, that's literally what your energy was bat signaling out into the universe. Give me people
Exactly.
to save, or people on the flip side that make their needs more important than mine. That's been the two things that I've
Yeah.
noticed. And so I've repeatedly gotten evidence saying friendship is not fulfilling,
Mm-hmm.
because that's what my brain was filtering for. And I think having this relationship, like you were saying before, like it has definitely opened up a field of possibilities in my head that's like, it's actually okay for me to have emotional responses and needs or whatever that are my own, that are not someone else's to fix. And often, like when we're voice noting, we will often not necessarily respond
No,
to the whole thing because it's not necessary. It's not
exactly.
needed. You come to your own realization, or you move on, or whatever. Yeah, we would always know, like if we wanted, I'd be like, okay, I'm so stuck in this, I need
Mm-hmm.
some external objective advice, please.
Yes, exactly.
And we've done that before too. But yeah, it's interesting, the safety factor. Like I really noticed it. We were away for the weekend last weekend, Shane and I, partly for our wedding anniversary.
Mm.
And I just notice I have more and more and more willingness to be really, really honest without the need to think, am I going to hurt someone? Am I going to
Mm.
like put pressure on someone? Am I whatever? And that just means that you can show up as yourself, which is a shitload easier than pretending something
Absolutely.
else. It's
Yeah,
very exhausting.
absolutely. It is. It is.
In so
Yeah.
many ways.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that like I have lots of great friends, and like especially in the last week have had amazing times with a variety of different
Yeah.
friends, and I'm like, oh, that's just wonderful. And I actually feel like I am now far more open with them,
Yeah.
and able to be more present with them because of the way that we have developed our friendship, of again, not because a little bit like you, I've often come into a friendship with a, why don't you try this, or maybe you should try this,
Oh,
or trying
yes.
to, and
Yeah.
I particularly noticed it last weekend where I sat and I actually just listened to the whole thing, and then I just said one sentence at the end of it, and they're like, oh yeah, that's exactly what I need to do. But they talked it all through first. So I'm like, maybe you try this, rather than me interrupting along the way and not getting the whole story.
Yeah.
And not being helpful.
Do you feel like that's an age thing too, that you
Oh
finally
yeah.
realize, like I was I don't even know what I was looking at, probably Instagram, and the lady was saying about the ego runs the show for the first part of life, and then like Chip Conley talks about that as well, and Modern Elder Academy stuff. But yeah, this second part of life is very much about the soul leading, and the soul doesn't need to be the fixer or the one that's right, or like I don't really feel the need for any of the things that used to be very alive for me in the first part of my life. And I look at my daughters and I think, oh wow, so many lessons, so many lessons to learn.
Yeah, I think it's definitely an age thing. And I know also for me, having been through my brother's suicide and my breast cancer in 2018, that I have a different perspective on what life is and the importance of it. And we chatted a couple of days ago. I went to a funeral of someone who I worked with on Thursday this past week, and it was like, she was only 56, so incredibly young. She has a son the same age as mine, and so all of those things were heartbreaking. But being at the funeral and listening to her friends talk about her life was actually really beautiful. And I was like, oh, that is actually what this is all about. It's about having those friendships and about sharing the fun times, and even when someone has passed at that age, being able to sit there and say, yes, this is really sad, but far out, we had a great ride together. And that was wonderful, because I mean, we talked about it, and you said, you hadn't been to many funerals. I've been to far too many funerals in the last 10 years, last 15 years, I guess, since my mum's funeral, probably. Far too many, of some of them really young, like the youngest is 12. And the oldest would be, I'm trying to think, probably only in their 70s.
Yes, that's young too.
And so that's young too, and far too many in between. And so I think I've just developed this respect for celebrating life and being, and just being, and not trying to do all these other things. And so a friendship where you can just be is magical. It really is.
Yeah, it really is. You're actually reminding me, like, I'm not great at celebrating anything to do with myself. We've had these conversations many times, and going into turning 50 actually in 6 months and 1 day from the time we record this. And I've been hot and cold on, what do I want to do? What do I want to do? And what I keep coming back to is, I don't want presents. I would like to ask anyone that I invite to the celebration to just share with me like a memory, or because I'm like, God, I didn't think I'd be close to crying multiple times in this episode. To me, like, I keep thinking about my dad died at 91, and he, many, many times said to me, it's the time spent and the connections made. That's all that matters. Like, you don't really have to think about anything else. And I'm just like, I want to know before I get to the stage where I'm being eulogized at my funeral, like what difference do I make to people? Because
Yeah.
I really, really don't, I don't ever acknowledge that sort of stuff. You and
Mm.
I, that has opened up definitely for me
Yeah.
in this relationship. Like I actually am making a difference, but in my head, my kind of belief about me and friendships is I don't do it very well. That's kind
Yeah.
of, and so I think that I've just sort of like shoved, like I've just swept away any impact that I might have had or
Mm.
do have. And I'm just like, I actually really want to marinate in the legacy of time spent and
Yeah.
connection made
Yeah. Yeah. That's
before
beautiful.
it's my funeral.
Yeah. And
Like
I think
you know,
I think I had the same in standing there at Robin's the other day, because
mm,
she's someone I worked with, so we weren't close friends,
mm-hmm,
but it was magical to sit and listen to her friends. I mean, her
yeah,
family, yes, but her friends in particular
yeah,
talk about what she meant to them, and so I think I'm the same. And can I also go back to what you
mm,
said?
mm.
You actually do want presence,
Oh
not
yes, that's what
present.
I mean. Yes,
Yeah,
yeah,
so you
yes,
want people present and that,
100%.
and
Yeah,
not gift
yeah,
a gift.
yeah.
So
Stuff
it's
doesn't mean
just
anything to me
no,
at all.
it is the that meaning. I remember my
Mm,
mum's 60th birthday, which is she was 66 when she passed, so it was her
yeah,
last kind of
yeah,
big
big, yeah,
birthday.
mm-hmm,
And she was very similar in what she wanted, and so she had a whole heap of people at a cafe in Colac for lunch, and
yeah,
she actually went to every table, speaking to like to everybody. So
yes,
I think I'd said some words, and then she went round to every table and openly with everybody there talked about what particular people meant to her. So
mm-hmm,
there were family members and there were friends and all of those things, and it was
mm,
just so beautiful to hear her
mm.
tell people on her birthday what that person had meant to her. Or
Gotta be in tears for the whole time.
oh,
No one
it
would
was
understand anything.
it was incredible,
Oh, beautiful.
and such a beautiful gift for her to do that, but also
Mm,
for all of us that were there as well. And I'd forgotten about
mm.
that only just popped back into my mind then. But I think they're the things now in midlife
Mm-hmm.
that's what's important, and that's what we all need to do more of, is to
Yeah.
celebrate the relationships that we have with people
Mm,
and what they mean to us.
yeah.
Because I think, Robin passing, I didn't even know that she had been unwell again.
Mm,
So, um, it can happen in the blink of an
yeah.
eye, and you don't always get the opportunity to tell people. So,
Mm-mm.
yeah, being able to celebrate that when
Mm,
people are with you is magical.
yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. I was thinking of my Shane keeps on saying to me, "Oh, we'll just have a Barbie in the backyard." And I'm like, I have no interest in cleaning my house, cooking food, or doing anything except actually disconnecting with people. So that's a
Yeah,
no from me.
yeah, yeah,
I know what he's saying. Like he's very like, if we have it at home, everyone's comfortable and da, da, da. I'm
mm.
like, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
um, I was thinking about something that we were talking about before with examples of close female relationships, because like my mum definitely did not have close
Mm,
friends at all. And I feel like that's kind of, it's something that I regret not showing my kids more of, because
mm,
we moved so much. That like when we just went to New Zealand, the two of the girls that I used to work in forensic with live literally 6 houses from each other, and
mm,
their kids, like they have been brought up literally in a Auntie Dottie will pick you up this afternoon, Auntie Kat's picking you up, that sort of
mm.
stuff. And I'm just like, I've missed these kids. Like these kids are spectacular because they're like, my favorite people in the world's kids. And when you're not that close, you miss that thing. But we never stayed in one place long enough to build that community.
Yeah,
And I think, I hope that doesn't stop my girls creating it for themselves, because I do look backwards and think, maybe I didn't even know what I was missing because I never saw it really. Like I know that sounds basic, but you were saying your mum had
yeah.
close relationships.
She did. She always had a close group of friends, but it's really interesting because she was such a good friend to me that it meant that I don't know that I ever did. And I see Harrison, my son now, and his group of friends, and they are really tight. Even like he's now third year of university. This is people he went to school with.
Yeah.
And so whereas often school relationships kind of die off once the university thing happens, there's a core group of them that are still as close and as tight as they were at school.
So special.
Which is really, really special. So he's definitely done it. I think a little bit the same as you. I went to primary school in Colac, and then I had secondary school in Geelong. I was a boarder at school there, and I would go home on weekends. But I think that was when I had the first big awareness of not being part of someone's life all the time and how that changed a friendship, because I had some very, very close friends at primary school, and we all went to different schools, and I not only went to a different school, I was a boarder somewhere else, and those friendships just disintegrated because they all made new friends where they were, and I made new friends where I was. And then when I left school, I went to university, kind of away from where everyone else was as well. Not that far, but there was no one else from my school that was at that university. And then I moved to New York.
New York, just to really finish it off.
So I feel like my friendships to date have been very they've been very much around the experience that I'm having at the time. And there are some friendships that go through and there's still, in fact, I think it's next weekend or the weekend after, I'm catching up with some friends from school, but they are relationships that I've picked up again in the last couple of years.
I don't have those people.
Not that I've had them, like they've been occasionally before that. And I have one very, very close friend from the States who we don't talk very often at all, but whenever we see each other, we just pick up and so that's a magical friend. But I feel like I have missed that, like you talk about with your friends in New Zealand. I've missed that core group of people around me that on a, like every weekend you kind of know what's happening because you're all going to catch up or whatever, because so many of my close friends have had sisters, or they've had a group of school friends that they've known for a long time, so they've had that kind of relationship there. So I was kind of always the friend that came into a group that extra that didn't ever really fit properly.
So interesting. As you're talking, I'm like, I'm an only child. I'm very, very comfortable just being in my own company, so I don't have a high need to be. But as you're talking, I'm realizing how much that has really, like, I have always felt like I have to do it myself or create something myself or whatever. Never ever had the experience of feeling like I've got that group to fall back on. And like, how cool is it that H has got that? But as you're talking about moving around, like my kids have gone to, I don't even know how many schools, like 6 or 7. It's only when they started high school that they're like, can we stay in one place just to do high school? And in the end, then they swapped schools twice. So we stayed in the same place and they went. And I look back at that and, well, I think there's several things. Like one of my daughters is also neurodivergent, and that lends itself to not necessarily connecting as easily as people do. And I also think, and this is something I really wanted to cover, thinking, like if you're listening and you don't have these types of relationships either, number one, like it's not too late. That's what I want to say. Absolutely. It's not too late. We are like living proof of that. But also like understand what works and what doesn't for you, because I think for me, the voice noting is so powerful for me between the two of us. And I've been in programs before where the connection bit is I can't remember what it's called, but it's like a short video noting or audio noting. And I found that the same type of thing, because I don't have to turn up at a particular time.
Yeah.
And I don't have to be available if it doesn't work for me from an energy or emotional perspective. Not that I have to, like, that's not so much the case anyway with us, but like if it's not in the flow of what I kind of want to do with my day, I can just listen when I want to. And I feel like that is really good for me. And I wonder whether maybe, I don't know whether this is just a personality thing or it's autism, whatever, but that demand avoidance thing that is talked about with autism, I do feel like that has gotten in my way sometimes, because it's like, I'm not good at every Saturday morning we turn up at the same cafe and we do this. But if I can be on my walk with my dogs and I happen to see you in the cafe, great, wonderful, lovely to speak to you. But I just feel like you need to know yourself and what you need in relationship, in everything really. let's be honest. But I feel like that is also why this has worked so beautifully for me, because it's been over time. It's not face to face. I actually noticed when we were first on the call, I had this really, really strongly as a kid, that not being able to make eye contact. And I noticed it when we first, and I'm like, wow, what's that about? And like I said to you, like we were out late last night, so I'm feeling a little bit less resourced than what I usually do. But yeah, sometimes if I'm seeing someone when I'm not ready to see someone, it feels very, I don't even know, like vulnerable and uncomfortable. So yeah, I just want to kind of note to people, like, not everybody wants the same things in friendship, and that's fine.
No.
Like you need to just, I don't know, figure out how to get what you want, and what sort of, I don't know, connections. And because I feel like, I don't know, I live in the country. I have a few friends in our little country town, but I wouldn't call them close friends. They're like, you know, acquaintance friends. And we do stuff together, but it's not like this relationship. And I just kind of think, I don't know, the internet's great because we can do all this, but sometimes it actually is tricky too, right?
It can be, absolutely. But I also think, like I was just thinking about the other friendship for me that's been really important in the last few years, which is there's 4 of us. The other 3 are all in the US, and so there's one of them that I actually, when I think about it the other day, I have never met her in person, but we have been. The other 2 I had met, but Terry wasn't. When I was in the States and first met these guys 7 years ago, Terry wasn't there that time in Austin. So, but we have been meeting once a fortnight for 7 years now.
I know.
And it's magical, because I think with that, because I was kind of thinking through with you, there are many times when I will have made a time to catch up with friends and I'm like, I am so tired, I just can't do this. And I don't ever feel like I can pull out. So I don't necessarily show up as my best self. And I think the magic of the voice note is it doesn't matter if I'm not as my best self. There's no judgment, that's fine. And it's a little bit the same with this group of friends is if we've got something on, then one of us is not there or 2 of us are not there, then that's fine. But every 2 weeks there is a time that we get together on a Zoom, and whoever is available is there. And it's 90 minutes once a fortnight, and that's really, really lovely to just be seen. And I think with that, it also means is I can show up, and if I'm really tired, because at the moment during our winter it's a 7 a.m. call for me. I can show up and it's cold, exactly. So I can show up and not have to say very much, but just bask in all of their energy. But I also know that they're there for me if I need them to be. And actually during 2018, when I was going through treatment and everything, they were the friends that I was seeing the most regularly,
Yeah.
because everybody else was, apart from the people that were taking me for treatment, which were great, they were the ones that I could be with because I didn't have to worry about whether they were sick or what else was going on.
Yes. Oh, yeah, true.
I could just be with them and share whatever was happening, and I knew that they were there. So yeah, friendships, I think, as for all of the issues that there are around social media and internet and all of those things, one of the things I love is that friendships can be in so many different ways than they used to be able to be. And yes, for anyone out there who feels like they don't have that connection, then sometimes it is just about thinking outside the box of what a friendship actually is and how it might work best for you.
Yeah. And maybe even like kind of like we didn't design this, but
no,
don't discount people that you've kind of lost touch with either. Like
exactly.
if there's resonance there. And in fact, I would argue that if you've met people that you've kind of been drawn to, but it hasn't happened for whatever reason, and then you've continued to do whatever growth and evolution stuff you've been on, like often the resonance is there, but you don't have the shit on the surface that stops you from making the connection. I feel like that is definitely the truth for this relationship.
Yeah.
It actually makes me want to, I don't know, this is not a question that we've got to answer, but it actually makes me come back to something that we've talked about before, which is like, how do we create connection online without it being about selling something or whatever? And I don't know whether there's an answer to that. What is coming to my mind is there is Beck Sparrow, who has been on this podcast before. She and one of them is Sarah and one is Lisa, I think. They did a short podcast series about finding and reconnecting with friends that I found really helpful. That was a couple of years ago, but I will dig it out and put it in the show notes because maybe it's a next step for people. But yeah, just I feel like, I don't know. My final thought is you deserve equal, deeply connected, deeply present relationships. And if you don't already have them, that doesn't mean you can't have them. That's my, What would be your final?
That sometimes friends pop up again in your life in the most unexpected ways.
Yeah.
And I think just be open to who might be there and who might help you out through something. And
absolutely.
I think that's the gift that we have had in our friendship of reconnecting and not really thinking that it was going to lead into this great friendship.
No.
But that it has just gradually and
snuck up on
magically. It really has. Yeah.
It really has. It's funny, isn't it? I remember actually because it was the time that I put up a thing on Instagram and was like, all right, people, I'm back. And you'd responded and I think just messaged me on Instagram and we were talking about catching up. And I remember actually sitting out underneath our locust tree when we were chatting, thinking, oh, so nice to hear your voice. And wasn't thinking, oh my God, I've just found, the most amazing rekindling of a friendship. But I think just being open, because I feel like in the past I haven't been open to connecting because it's been very low on my list of important things because I just haven't valued investing in friendships. It just hasn't been high on my list for whatever reason.
Well, I think the thing that comes up for me with that is sometimes the investment that you're needing to make for some friendships is just not an investment that you are able to make at a particular time. 100%. And I think that's been I've definitely felt that at times as well. And I think that's been the magic of this, is that it has just snuck up, and it's literally just because we have, I think it started with a voice note once every few weeks, and now it's most days. And I
feel like it's not a day if I haven't.
Yeah, no, it does.
Even
feel
if
like
it's
that
just a quick,
yeah, just a quick check-in.
Yeah.
So you know, it's just, I think the magic thing is being open to it.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. God. Yeah. Yeah. Something we didn't get to, and I won't go into, but I think the other thing that's in my mind as you're talking about that is that it's okay for friendships to end as well.
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
that's definitely been part of my realization that sometimes, particularly if you have entered into them with a skew whiff version of what friendships mean or whatever, who you have to be a friend or whatever, and then you heal some of that stuff, you can realize that, oh, this is actually not something that I choose to invest in anymore, and that's okay. Like, that's
Exactly.
fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
For what is it, a reason, a season, and a something? I don't know. That was a beautiful little saying, but
I know,
whatever that is.
I was trying to work out what that was too. It wasn't coming to me.
Yeah. Thank you, my friend. I feel like we have been talking about doing these types of episodes for a little while now, just choosing a topic and seeing where it ends up. We always have such great conversations. So thank you for joining me. It's been fun.
It has been. Thank you very much. I've loved it as well.
And if anyone has any ideas about how we can create a real non-salesy, non-whatever circle, I don't know. Online, that's the problem, isn't it? You need to come together physically. Anyway, thank you so much. No, not always, but I feel like, I don't know, I want to like buy a 200-acre property in the middle of nowhere and say, let's meet here 3 times a year.
Oh my God, that is my dream.
Oh, wouldn't that be cool? So good. So good. Except I also want running water and electricity.
All those things are important. Yes.
Oh dear. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
See you later.
Thanks for tuning in to Wild and Finally Fucking Free. I'm Kylie, your host, and given that I know you would have enjoyed this episode, please do us a favor and subscribe, leave a review, and share it with fellow freedom seekers. Remember, being seen in all our mess and magic helps heal ourselves and the world, because the world needs more wild and finally fucking free humans. Have a great day.